Hi, Preston Sandlin here with Home Inspection Carolina, and today I thought this might be helpful. When I chose our house, I made a matrix. I've done this a couple of times where you put out all your priorities on one axis, the houses on the other, and you weigh the priorities and then come up with a score. Because usually, you kind of emotionally want one, but then you decide I don't know, but you put them all to the test of everything you're looking for, and it may or may not be the one to come up with the highest score. It's just helpful, and I hope it might help you. So we're going to go over here, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so what I did here was I made a list of everything that was important to me. These things are pretty cool. I got these at Cheap Joe's Art. But, your list may be a little bit different. Schools, amenities, neighborhood, shopping, convenience to work, taxes. May or may not be a big deal to some people, and your list may be different. For us, if you're in Mecklenburg County, taxes are rather high. If you're in Union or Fort Mill, I don't know what the county is, but they're a little less. That was an important thing to us. These may go under features, but they would still be something that you would use to judge the house. Again, this is all to judge. Let's say you had a couple of houses you were choosing from. We'll say 3. Lot size, garage, that was a big one for us. We really wanted a 3-car garage because I have a business and I have a lot of stuff, and I just have a lot of stuff. Number of bedrooms, style of house, type of heat. May not be as important to other people. So, and your list may be different, but now you got to go back and say, all right, of these, which is the most important to you? If you had to give up on something, that would be the least important, and scale them from 1 to 5, 5 being the most important. This is how I did it. Schools was a 5. Amenities, probably a 3. Neighborhood, probably a 3. Shopping, probably a 2. Just about anywhere you live where we were looking, you would be within a couple of miles of a grocery store. Convenience to work, not as important to me because I own a business and I'm kind of all over, but I don't want to be so far out. That would probably be about a 2 or 3. I'll give it a 3. Taxes, I'm going to go 4 on that because I have some rental. It's a long story. I just don't want to pay more taxes than I have to. Nobody does. Lot size, where we live, I like the lot size because, our first house, that was probably a 4. That would be more important. 3-car garage was a 5. That was part of the reason we were moving. So that was a 5 for us. May not be a 5 for you. Number of bedrooms, probably about a 3. I mean, it's got to be a minimum of 3. If it's, 4, whatever, that's fine. Style of house, I'm pretty open to that. So that would not as important to me. 2, type of heat, I prefer gas heat, but, everything else was fantastic. If it's electric heat, that's all right. So that's going to be about a 2 right there. So what I did was made a list of the things I was looking for in a new house, and then I gave them a score from 1 to 5, 5 being, I'm weighting them basically. 5 was the highest, and 1 or 2 being a lot lower. I mean, I'd like to have it, but if I've got a budget, chances are I'm not going to get every single one of these. The lower priority ones would be the ones I'd be willing to give in on. So now I'm going to make a matrix from this. Okay. So let's make a matrix. So here we've got house 1, house 2, house 3. Let's change the colors a little bit to make this a little more fun. All right, so then we go back to our list from before, and I'm going to say, let's do some boxes here, basically, of all the things we were looking for, right? Sorry if this gets a little boring. Let me house 1, house 2, house 3. I was going to do a little picture, but so this one would be schools, right? Schools. Oh, misspelled it, sorry. Schools. And I'm also going to put a 5 to remind me of the importance of that. Amenities, I may just abbreviate. That one's going to be a 3, okay? And I'll fill this out. I don't want to bore you with all that, and I'll come right back. Okay, so I filled all that out. I didn't get them all in just because I ran out of space, but for demonstration purposes, I think you'll get it. So let's say there's 3 houses that we're looking at. Now what you're going to do is look at each one of these categories and score that, how that house does in that particular category. So let's say house 1, schools are great. I'm giving that a 5. Well, it's 5 times 5 because it's weighted. You get a 25 there. The amenities, yeah, they were so-so. So I give them a 3. So it was 3 times 3 would be a 9. I have to get another, hold on a second here. Just switch up. 3 times 3 would be a 9. I don't know where I got these things. Neighborhood, I like the neighborhood. I'll give it a 5. 5 times 3 is a 15. Shopping actually was really good. I'll give it a 5, but it's 5 times 2 is 10. So you see what we're doing here. I'm giving each category, I'm giving it from 1 to 5, but it's weighted. Does that make sense? So let's say house 1, convenience to work, that was a 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Taxes, it was in Union County, like the taxes, I'm giving that a 5. 5 times 4 is 20. It did have a 3-car garage. 5 times 5 is 25. Lot size was great. I'm giving that a 5. 5 times 4 is 20. Type of heat wasn't the type of heat that I wanted. So I'm going to give that actually a 2 or a 3, but it was only a 2 or a 3. So let's say 3 times 2 is 6. So what I'm going to do is, add up the total score. And then let's go to house 2. Well, let's say house 2 also had good schools. Amenities were better. So we'll go, it was great amenities. 5 times 3 is 15. Neighborhood was great. Give that a 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Shopping wasn't quite as good. It was kind of out a little bit further. So I'm going to give that a 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Convenience to work, I'm going to give it a 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Taxes, it's way out. Taxes were good. I'm also giving that one a 20. Garage, yes, 3-car garage, 25. And this one was a 2-car garage. So let's say that, 2 times 5 is 10. They get a score in that. So anyway, you guys get the idea. Each house, you're going to score it on these categories, but then you times it times the number that it's weighted. So what we're looking for here is a total score. And this is kind of more of an objective thing. In the house we're in right now, I love it. I love it. But it wasn't my emotional choice. It was actually the choice that came out on this. So anyway, let me finish filling this out and I'll be right back with you. So here's what happened. I didn't want to spare you with all my math calculations and everything. House 1 came out to 145. House 2 came out to 142. And house 3 came out to 123 on me scoring them from 1 to 5 on the things that were important to me. But they were weighted 1 to 5 also because, schools were more important to me than the type of heat. So that was more important. So this is the way I logically chose the house. And be honest with you, it's not exact, but it's very close. I actually had the other house was my emotional choice, was the one that I wanted. My emotion was like, let's buy that one for whatever reason. But once I got down and put it on paper and objectively looked at it, all the things that were important to me, the house I'm in right now is the one that came out ahead, and I'm really glad that I chose it. Anyway, I thought this might be helpful. If you guys are ever, it's HGTV, will it be house 1, house 2, or house 3? And I'm like, well, let's put it down to paper and what's important to you and weigh it out and see how it comes up and what the score is. Now, obviously, you can still choose whatever house you want, but, gives you a little bit more of an objective look at it. And, you could change it, modify it however you want. Anyway, hope this has been helpful. This is Preston Sandlin with Home Inspection Carolina. Thank you for watching.